We've come off a string of high-speed racetracks here in the Wawa Cup Series, and we have seen the best drivers that we anticipate throughout the rest of the season run up front. Well, tonight we switch it all up. We're back on the short track, and we've got a few of these coming up in the race to the chase. Only 6 races remain until the cutoff here in the Wawa Cup Series, and tonight's event here at the famed North Wilkesboro Speedway will play another huge role into who makes it into the championship hunt. We're here for the Brandt 400, 100 laps of action around the 0.625 mile speedway in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And it's all part of Indy 250 week here on AG the channel. Let's see who gets it done in the 15th race of the season in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We are excited for this one here tonight. We've got a short track nestled into all these speedways that we got. Of course, next Friday night it's the Coke 600. We are so excited for that race, but we're excited for this one as well. And after what we saw at Auto Club last week, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear on who is good in this series and who isn't at this point. And that was definitely shown as Blaine Keys went to victory lane a week ago at the Auto Club Speedway to get that Napa 400 win. And you know what? This is a place where you want to start up front. And look at who's starting up front. Matthew Hubert, a second pole for him. He got the pole last week at Auto Club and did an excellent job there. And we have a couple of past winners right behind him with Angel Gutierrez, who won at Bristol. He definitely needs a win after last week's debacle. And then Trey Bartow, who won Rockingham, right behind him. And Bartow has won here before at the North Wilkesboro Speedway as well. But hey, it's going to be tough to pass out here. But the tire wear is going to be significant. And we're going to have a cycle of pit stops about 60 laps in. It's going to be very unique to see how it all ends up shaking out here tonight. Join alongside Stuart Gratton and Nathan Stapleton for the call of this one. And Stuart, I'll start off with you. You guys have definitely found your speed as of late. Matt Tuck is 5th in points. Ludovic Charette is 6th in points. And they start on the outside lane, but they start top half of the field. What do they need to do here tonight to manage their spots and keep those good runs going so they get a little bit further away from that cutoff in the right direction?
Well, I'm very confident with the way the car is performing and on these, I suppose, the chassis-heavy tracks. I feel really good about the way the car is performing. You see the 51, 54 on the outside. Need to get to the bottom. The 11 starts in the top 10, which is fantastic. Corey Case, one of our hot seat drivers, or our hot seat driver for the week. But yeah, for Ludovic and for Matt, get to the inside as soon as possible. And then with the way the car manages the tyres, it's been really impressive. And just try and move your way through the field. And then clean on pit road. You've got to be clean on pit road. Got to have clean entrances. This is a racetrack where potentially there could be some drama entering and exiting for drivers if it's a green flag run. So just got to keep it clean today. Get to the inside early on and then keep it clean. That's the...
Going to be fascinating to see how it ends up shaking out. And I will say, I did mention yesterday, or should I say Wednesday night, with the Sprint Series race that we were going to do a mid-race break. I've decided against that. We're going to go ahead and just play it out if it goes green. And you know what? Pit strategy could be a huge thing. And Nathan, your team has unfortunately struggled quite a bit. You got Andrew Miller there starting 11th. You got Travis Crampton a bit further behind. Maybe you guys play a little pit strategy in this race to possibly get a little bit better up in the running order here tonight.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's been a fairly struggling season for NS Racing, but it's not for the lack of trying, for sure. We've definitely figured some stuff out as of late, but tonight's going to be a tough one. Strategy's going to play into effect big time here with the tire, especially. It's hard to pass at North Wilkesboro, but tire can really play into a factor. And if you have a short run car versus a long run car, that would matter a ton here tonight.
We're going to have to see who does have the long-run cars, who has the short-run cars. That'll definitely be a huge factor. But like I said, passing will be very difficult. Maybe the hardest track to pass on, hardest oval track to pass on the circuit. Of course, Bristol was also the same way. And hey, you know who won Bristol? It was Angel Gutierrez, and he's right there on the outside pole. And after last week, oh boy, Angel fell way down in that running order. He went from 5th to 11th. No, Maybe. I think either he might have gone from 6th to 11th. Either one or the other. There's a 5 and the 6 somewhere in there. Regardless of the fact, he's outside looking in now. 1 point behind, as you see right there in your chase points picture. Of course, Thomas Troxel, 83 points ahead of that cutoff. He is still kicking it, and he's doing an excellent job. He's got a great starting position here tonight as well. Blaine Keys, our last winner, only 47 points ahead, but that's pretty much a full race win worth of points right there for him. Trey Bartow has had a great season. The past few races haven't been the best for him, but he starts third, 36 points ahead. He could definitely rebound. Rogel Dorn, it's one guy who does not have a good starting position here tonight. He starts way back in the field. He is 23 points ahead. He's got to be careful not to lose all of that momentum. Of course, Matt Tuck, Ludovic Charette, 20 and 19 points ahead, respectively. Martinsville winner Jack Haas, 17 points ahead, and you got Brian Webb there, 8 points ahead. Nicholas Samadeo jumped into the top 10. He's 3 points ahead, and our defending champion Drew Webb just 1 measly point ahead of Angel Gutierrez there for that cutoff. Then you got Daniel Paulus Jr., 12 points behind Matthew Hubert, our pole sitter, who is starting to really show some strength here, and if he has another good run here tonight, he could very well put himself in the top 10. He's 23 behind Brandon Perez, LJ Semedo, Kirsten Bell, really the only guys at this point who are close enough by any comparison, 30, 30, and 36 behind respectively. And then it's Gutierrez and Paulus Jr., the wild cards right now. 29 ahead for Gutierrez, 18 ahead for Paulus, and then Semedo and Kirsten Bell, 18 and 24 behind respectively. Avery Alford really has a lot of work to do if he's going to have any chance. He's 97 behind the wild card, which ain't too good with only 6 races left to go until the cutoff. Hey, regardless of the fact, we're going to have some fun here tonight with this one. It's Matthew Hubert starting on the pole position there for Rut Racing. 2 straight poles for this team, and they have done an excellent job alongside Angel Gutierrez right there. Trey Barcha, winner of this race, I believe, in 2019, 5 years ago. He's looking to go back to victory lane here at North Wilkesboro alongside Bryce Egan, who, hey, watch out for Bryce Egan. He might not be top 20 in points yet, but he has shown a lot of strength as of late. Justin Seidel in the 43. He needs a good run here alongside Braden Perez in the 23. Both drivers struggling a little bit more than we expected. And how about these guys? Thomas Troxel, our points leader, and Nicholas Samadeo, who's definitely found a lot of speed as of late. And how about the Dash for Cash winner, Corey Case, starting top 10 here tonight for Grafton Autosport alongside the Martinsville winner of Jack Haas. Any of those top 10, maybe with the exception of Corey Case, with all due respect, can go to victory lane here tonight. Let's see how it all goes down here at North Wilkesboro. Quickly, Stewart and then Nathan, who do you guys think is going to victory lane here tonight in this Brandt 400?
Well, last year Chase Buck won from the pole here at North Wilkesboro. I wouldn't be surprised to see this happen again, and that's purely because the zero of Matthew Hubert, obviously qualified on pole last week, but he's been strong throughout. He was strong at Martinsville until he's involved in the kind of shenanigans that took out Troxel as well, for example, and LJ Semedo, those guys at the front. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Hubert go to victory lane tonight.
Yeah, not bad pick. I'm gonna go with the place star toy bottle. I think it's gonna get another slow win tonight.
We'll have to see if he can do so. It's going to be fun regardless. We're excited for this one. Here we go, coming out the final corner. We're Green Flag Racing at one of the best short tracks in America. And the first lap will be led by Matthew Hubert. Good jump at the start right there, and that's exactly what he wants. Those guys going side by side behind him, Trey Bartow and Angel Gutierrez. There is some grip on that outside lane, and that is going to come into effect here tonight. Bryce Egan right behind those guys in fourth, and it's Justin Seidel, Brain Perez, and Sam Medeo, 3 wide on the outside lane right here. Jack Haas and Andrew Miller. He's got to be careful not to get caught up in any shenanigans in this one. Of course, he's been involved in a few shenanigans on short tracks this season. We all know Bristol, and I know that's ringing in his mind. It looks like they're going to figure that out a little bit. Troxel moving his way through the field, and Trey Bartow having his eyes set on Matthew Hubert, who's pulled out to a significant lead here early on.
Still very early days, though. Lap 4 as Bartow gets up into second place. I do want to keep an eye on Egan in the 69 in fourth, because he is a driver that, he's had such a disappointing start to the season. He was just unlucky, I feel like, more often than not. But, he's climbed up to 22nd in points. Still a fair way out, but, I don't know, with a win and with the way he's been running in recent times, he might have an outsider shot. I mean, Travis Crafton last year, Nathan, of course, your guy, didn't have a great run at the start of last year, but he did get that win at Vegas and then charged home late to make the chase as a wildcard driver.
And not only that, Crampton was still in championship contention going into the final race mathematically, which is quite something. We had a lot of guys still in contention for that last race, including Ludovic Charette, who was also one of those guys who was driving for Team Andrews, or Andrews Racing last year, so something to keep in mind right there. Tire wear is also something to keep in mind here tonight. It's going to really fall off here, a little bit more so than we did last year. And we got about a 3-4 second fall off, so that's going to make things very, very unique, especially as we get later on in the run. And once you know it, Trey Bartow, he's starting to close in a little bit there on Matthew Hubert for this race lead. It's Gutierrez third, Bryce Egan, and Braden Perez, who, we really haven't seen much of Braden Perez this season. He had a lot of strong runs late last year, but this season he really hasn't been up front as much. But he still sits 14th in the points, 30 points behind, and you know what? A good opportunity for him tonight to get a little bit closer to that cutoff line.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, with it being such a flat position race, be a very prime opportunity for that number 23 of Perez gaining a lot more points than normal, with him being in the top 5 and doing a good job. He's gonna block and stay on the inside lane, trying to keep that 43 as I dealt behind him, and it's gonna be tough to pass, but some decent racing so far as Charleston is gonna get a little bit sideways off turn 4.
You see those guys kind of fishtail it off the exit of 4 quite a bit here in North Wilkesboro. They don't quite do it. They don't do it at all, actually, off the exit of turn number 2. And that's because, and they'll tell you a lot this weekend in the All-Star race, you're going uphill one way, going downhill the other. I just can't remember where it's all at. How about Bryce Egan making a move on Angel Gutierrez? Bryce Egan, man, I am very impressed with what he's been doing. He reminds me a lot of Ludovic Charette from last year. We didn't know much about Ludovic until midway through the season, and we're like, hey, wait a minute, this guy's getting some good runs. And same could be said for Bryce Egan, who's with that same team, and he just made a pass here on a track that's very difficult to make passes. And you know what? He might be a threat to win this race, especially if the pit strategy plays out. We'll have to see how that ends up shaking out for all these guys. But how about Matthew Hubert? Had a good run at Auto Club. He lost the lead early on, but he stayed with those guys the whole way through to get a top 5. And once again, another pole for him. And you know what? Matthew Hubert's another one of those guys who's right up there, looking to get inside that top 10. Let's go through the field, see who's who throughout the field here. Andrew Miller is 9th. Good run for him here. Nicholas Samedeo has Ludovic Charette looking to take that 10th position away from Samedeo right there. Of course, that's exactly the kind of run I think you guys want to see, considering where you started. Ludovic Charette trying to move its way on the inside. Corey Case has flipped back a little bit. There's Seth Cole there. Daniel Paulus Jr. on Matt Tuck. These guys here, I think a lot of people kind of wrote off Daniel Paulus Jr. in Trackhouse Racing, but you know what? They are for real. They really are. And Daniel's been able to get some consistent runs after that Atlanta win. And you know what? He's got another consistent run going for him right here. Drew Webb, Logan Williams back there, Travis Crampton, our last winner, Blaine Keys in the 41. And then you have Roberto Brown Jr., Tanner Parton, Ace Garcia. Hope nothing bad happens to him tonight. Defending race winner of the Brandt 400. Of course, it was the Southern States 400 last year. But defending race winner here at North Wilkesboro, that's Chase Buck, who has not had a good season at all, and he's mired deep in the field. There's Kirsten Bell. This is not a run that she needs, considering that she's in that wild card race. Go through the back here. Brian Webb's another guy who's really fallen off here as of late. He was the points leader at one point. He's now only 8 points out of the cutoff, and he's going to fall below that cutoff at this rate. And Rogel Dorn, that's a huge surprise right there. Guy who's 4th in points, mired all the way back in 35th right now. But everyone's still on the lead lap as Bryce Egan has closed up to the back bumper of Trey Bartow here for this 2nd position.
Yeah, 69 is doing a really nice job moving his way closer towards the front of the field. Obviously got around Gutierrez before, who got the job done at Bristol earlier in the year. So clearly this car has pace, and Bryce Egan has pace. You're right, he is one of those drivers that is a surprise in the sense that nobody really knew anything about him. He's making his first start at the Smoothfest. So he's not a driver that we've particularly known a lot about, but he's come on strong. He's just had a lot of bad luck this year, more than anything else. He probably should be higher than 22nd in the points because he's run top 10, top 5 on a frequent basis, just hasn't quite got the results. But top 9 guys have really stretched away from 10th position, down between him and Charette, about 2.5 seconds, those two cars. So that is a surprise. to me to see how far away those guys are. Shout out to Andrew Miller as well, running in ninth. A good run for him.
And I think this is another team, and I think you can attest to it a little bit, Nathan, that should have run or should be running a lot better or should be a lot higher in the points. Maybe not as consistent as Bryce Egan, but Andrew's had a better season, I feel like, overall than he did last year. And, he's got some momentum going on here tonight in this one, so we'll have to see if he can get a good finish out of it. Now, tire wear is starting to come into effect here, which is going to make passing even more difficult, but big key is that cycle of pit stops. And, if this thing stays green to about lap 60, and it's about a 60-lap run, when you come down, it's going to be huge, because then it's about 40 laps after that, and how you manage the tires near the end of that run is going to really pay off with how well this runs. And we're going to see that in real life this weekend as well. They got that option tire or whatever. They're going to try to do something with the tire. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm not really expecting anything with the All-Star race this Sunday, but you know what? Who knows? Tire wear is huge on these short tracks, and you know what? We see that come into effect on the higher speed, high-wear tracks like Darlington and Rockingham a lot, and well, guess who won Rockingham? That was Trey Bartow, so watch out for Bartow here. He's third in points, looking to really get some more momentum going into these last 5 races in the chase, and maybe go for that regular season title. Of course, Troxel, he's done an excellent job this season, as he's got a nose to the inside to Justin Zeidel, and he's got the pass. He's got the inside on that 43 machine. That is for the 6th position, and Justin going to fall back. Good run for Justin. He needed a good run here tonight. It's been a tough season there for him, and especially compared to his teammate who's won already twice this year. And I know you guys had him at Grattan Autosport last year. Got the win for you guys at Road America, but hasn't been the best this season for Zeidel. He's 20th in points, but Troxel made that move there, and watch out for the 62. Of course, we know Pacific Racing is really good on the short tracks, and Troxel's right here in the 6th position now. He could be a threat to win this race.
Definitely have to watch out for Troxel at some point in this one. Pacific Racing always good at these short tracks, and even though he's only in the 6th position, we are only 25, 26, 27 laps in, only a quarter up the way through this one, and could easily have a shot if pit stops cycle out the way that they want to. And you mentioned Tyler. We are definitely noticing Tyler is affecting these drivers here already, almost halfway through the fuel window here, and it's going to be interesting of how things cycle out here whenever we get pit stops. But you mentioned Andy Miller, a great run for that 917, and I can just say this: it's been a weird season as a whole for the Wawa Cup Series, but especially for NS Racing. But starting to gain speed, starting gaining some momentum. Saw that with Clampton last week, and this week is that 97. So good to see. How about Jack Haas as well, with a good one inside the top 10?
It's no surprise to see him run well on these short tracks. I think these guys have pretty good short track speed here in the Wawa Cup Series. Of course, he got that win in Martinsville, and hey, he was one of the stronger guys in that race. And of course, all the shenanigans happened that took out a few of the leaders right there, including Matthew Hubert and Thomas Troxel. And we're seeing a lot of those similar faces running up front here, and now you're really starting to see this tire wear come into effect. These guys kind of taking a middle line off the exit, trying not to wear their stuff off, jumping onto the gas off the exit of the corner, I think. And that's brought Bartow and Hubert, or should I say Bryce Egan, right back in to the 0 Matthew Hubert. And you know what? If this thing stays green here, they're going to catch at the back of the field right here. And this isn't what we saw on Wednesday at Hillside, where they're just driving around all these slow cars like crazy. These are cars that are on pace at the back of the field that have just lost the pace. Uh-oh. Oh, no, not him. Angel Gutierrez down the pit lane. There's an issue, and that could be a tire going down, and may not have managed the tire wear. He's going to fall back, and I don't know if he can make it to the end at this point. I don't know if that's possible for him, but he's going to get some fresh tires here, and there's still an issue on that 36 machine. He's going to lose a lot of ground, but we're going to... Oh my goodness, Blaine Keys is upside down. How is that possible?
Wow. That's not ideal.
Wow.
That's definitely not what you want to do at North Wilkesboro.
Our last race winner, flipping upside down. Pit lane is open. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is going to be interesting, because they can definitely, I'm pretty sure they can definitely stretch it on fuel. Will they want to stretch it on tires all the way to the end? This could get interesting here, folks. Of course, they got to get through the cycle first. Matthew Hubert, Trey Bartow. That's a shame for our last winner, Blaine Keys, who is going to lose second in the points because of that. He's going to fall way back I don't know how he got flipped over. We're going to check that out in just a moment for you, but here we go. Obviously going to be a 4-tire stop for all these guys. Matthew Hubert in the 0 with the first pit stall as the pole sitter. Trey Bartow, Bryce Egan right there. Gutierrez is still on the pit lane. Looks like his day might be done. And how about Braden Perez taking second there? Thomas Troxel with third. Great pit stops out of those guys. And Bartow is going to fall back to the 4th position. Hubert should be the race leader. They will give that to him right here. Well, what a turn of events right there. Did not expect to see a car upside down here tonight. Let's see how he got upside down. Blaine Keys bringing out the first caution of the night here in the Brandt 400, the North Wilkesboro Speedway. All right, last year's winner of this Brandt 400. Southern States 400. You know, last year's North Wilkesboro winner, Chase Buck. It's not been a good season for him. He got in the Roberto Crown Jr., and I got into him really bad. And that sent Roberto up into Blaine Keys, and Blaine Keys just gets sandwiched and does a wall ride. That's how he got flipped over. Only these 3 cars involved in this accident, but obviously bringing out the caution flag here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Tough break for Blaine Keys. He got the race win last week at Auto Club. A lot of momentum from that, and this is going to kind of break that momentum. Of course, he is the defending winner of the Coke 600. We're there next week at Charlotte. Maybe the short tracks just aren't his thing. Tough break there for Blaine Keys in the 41.
Well, 3-0 does not really look out at North Wilkesboro, but this was kind of a bump and dump from Buck into Clown Jr. into Blaine Keys, and very unfortunate, and it's not every day that you see a flip at a short track like North Wilkesboro, and the highs and lows of the Wawa Cup Series wins at Auto Club last week, and then upside down the very next race. Tough week for all the drivers involved, and this is going to be very interesting from here on out.
It definitely will be a fascinating one. Especially considering, you know, how are they going to be on fuel and tires here going to the end of this race. Matthew Hubert's your race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart here from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Well, we're back here.
I jinxed it.
We're back here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Oh my goodness. We knew tire wear was going to be an issue. And Matthew Hubert tire down on the 0 machine. Now, the good thing is this happened under caution, but he's going to lose all this ground. That is such a shame for Matthew Hubert because he had a very good chance of winning this race here tonight. And it's really going to take a lot for him to be back in contention. Wow. And you know what? I think the same thing that happened. I don't know what happened to Gutierrez. He is still on the pit lane. Those are 2 guys who needed some good runs, both outside the chase cutoff, who are going to probably not have as good of a run. Hubert's not going to be able to... He might be able to get back out there before they take the green flag, but that's going to hand the lead over to Braden Perez. So, new race leader here in North Wilkesboro. Braden Perez winning the race off the pit lane there. Great pit stop out of that Team Williams camp. And you know what? This could be the race for Braden Perez to finally get it done, and that's going to be huge because that sends him into the wild card race, and this is a guy we expect to have some consistency. Obviously, was great last year, trying to get his first win of the season. Thomas Troxel trying to get his second win of the season. Same with Trey Bartow. You have Bryce Egan, and hey, you liking this, Stuart? Ladovich right there in 5th with Seidel, Miller, Logan Williams, Nicholas Samadillo, and how about Corey Case there in the top 10. Here we go, back underway. Watch out for Thomas Troxel on this 62, trying to pressure this 23 to the outside. And Perez going to block him just a bit right there. Oh, here he comes.
That's Troxel, obviously, with a good race out there. 62 looking the inside.
Oh, almost getting into him.
There.
Side by side for the race lead between Thomas Troxel and Braden Perez. Perez going to try to utilize the outside lane. There's some grip up there off the exit at 2, and they're still side by side. And Bartow wants them to remain side by side. He wants a taste of this race lead, and he doesn't want Troxel to get out ahead too much either. A couple of cars down the pit lane, Brady Mardi Gras and Zachary Fitzwater. Not entirely sure what the issue was with those guys as Troxel takes the race lead away. Already our 3rd different race leader, and right there, Bartow stuck side by side with Perez, and Troxel looking to pull away with this thing here in North Wilkesboro.
Well, we mentioned earlier that he cannot count Pacific Racing and Thomas Troxel, and well, to the point goes that number 62, and here comes Trey Barlow in the number 4, Bryce Egan in the 69, Seidel, some new players. How about both Appalachian cars, Williams and San Diego inside the top 10? Starting to see some new players, and you know what? This has been, you want to make the moves on the restart here at a really tough track to make some passes on the long one.
Well, Braden Perez kind of stuck in this outside lane, really clear. Bryce Egan here, no, he won't. Egan also going to take a position away from him right there. Brandt is going to try to close in here on Thomas Troxel, and Troxel's got to be careful not to lose it off the corner right there. Like I said, they do that fishtail thing quite a bit here in North Wilkesboro, and definitely makes me nervous. So, after all that, out of the race is going to be Blaine Keys. Matthew Hubert's still on the lead lap as the cautions back out here at North Wilkesboro, and oh boy, we had another flip. Oh no, and it was Ladovic this time, and this happened way up front in the field. I think that's the 31 of Leonard Kochmer. Philip Torres is also torn up in the 20 machine. And Logan Williams got caught up as well. And that, oh, Stewart. Oh my goodness, you did not want to see that, did you? And we're going to get some split strategy here as well. This is going to really get interesting because we're on the edge there of being able to make it. Bartow, Troxel, and Perez coming down right here. San Diego's also coming down. Kirsten Bell's got damage in the 93. Oh, looks like we had a bit of a massive pile up there down the backstretch. And once again, another crazy race here in the Wawa Cup Series. I tell you what.
I did see that Logan Williams, I think, made it 3 wide underneath Charette. There was someone on the inside. I think that's what happened. I think they made contact.
That's a shame right there. Right sides only for these guys as they try to gain an advantage. Only the 4 of them came down right there, and everyone else stayed out. That's going to be interesting. Will they have an advantage as this thing goes through? You know, man, we thought this was going to be a bit of a snoozer here tonight, and it's turned out to be a bit of a wild race as we're just about halfway through it. Ladovic Charette, he did not need that. And like you said, Logan Williams as well, another one of those guys who's had a very tough season. No doubt about it here in the Wawa Cup Series, and expected a bit more out of him this year, and obviously, considering he won the Southern 500 last year, it's definitely a race where if you win that late in the season, you know you're a good driver, but he's out of the race. Ladovic Charette might end up being out as well. And Avery Alford, Chase Buck, Philip Torres, Leonard Kochmer also caught up in that one as well with, I think, Brady Mardi Gras. And the 50 machine there, Nathan Faden, also a couple laps down as well. And that's the one downside to a place like this. They reckon with the racing back to the line that we still use here in NR2003, they tend to jam it up and run into each other. All right, we've got a very interesting race playing out now. Bryce Egan, your race leader. But first, let's see what happened to bring out the second caution of the night here in this Brandt 400 at North Wilkesboro. This is a fascinating one right here. Logan Williams tries to split the middle going into the corner of Ladovic Charette and Andrew Miller. That wasn't a good idea. He gets in the Ladovic right here. That gets the 95 squirrely, and then Logan's teammate, Nicholas Samanios, is moving to the inside here, trying to get all the positions he can. And then Logan continues to try to split the middle on Andrew Miller and Ladovic Charette. And that didn't work. Nowhere for Ladovic to go on that outside lane, and there might be a few words exchanged between those two drivers at the end of this one here tonight. And unfortunately, Tanner Parton, nowhere to go in the 18 machine, and then you're going to see Philip Torres just run right into Logan Williams right there. And then more guys coming into the frame here in just a moment. I believe it's 31 there, Leonard Kochmer, Sprint Series driver, going to completely rear-end that 51 there, Ladovic Charette. Chase Buck, nowhere to go. Avery Alford, Seth Cole, they jam up. And then the 50 of Nathan Faden, LJ Semedo going to get a piece of that one as well. Sam Odoskin and Matthew Hubert avoided. And that, actually, I don't know if that's going to save Hubert. We saw those 4 guys come down. But, oh, and Mardi Gras. Ooh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about ARCA brakes right there. Yeah, that was certainly one of the moments of all time. And, you know, the way this racetrack works out, not much room for these guys to go, especially off the exit there at turn 2.
Well, Logan Williams tries to really force a hole that's not there in the middle, and then keeps going, clips Miller, and then it's all on from there. And Parton, Torres, and all these guys just chose wrong. They didn't go to the bottom, they went to the top, and that's a massive hit. And then Brandt is going to come here late, and Arca breaks, unfortunately, for those guys at the back of the field. Very unnecessary accident. Look at the 50. I mean, he's just stuck on top of Brady Mardi Gras there. That's a very unnecessary incident, to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. Gonna create an interesting scenario, though. We got 4 guys who came down, took right sides. We'll have to see if that helps them out or not as this race goes along. Will these guys who stayed out be able to make it to the end? That's the big question. Bryce Egan, Justin Zeidel, Andrew Miller, Daniel Paulus Jr., Jack Haas, the top 5. Let's get to the restart here in the Brandt 400 in North Wilkesboro. We're back here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in the Brandt 400, just about halfway. Halfway in 3 laps. And a big wreck, taking out a couple of the top contenders, Ladovic Charette and Logan Williams more specifically right there. Avery Alford also out with Chase Buck, Philip Torres, Leonard Kochmer, Brady Mardi Gras, and then Nathan Faden in the 54 laps down. Fitzwater's lap down, he had to pit there right off the exit, or right off the end of the restart, and ended up getting caught a lap down because of that. 29 guys on the lead lap, and we saw Bartow and those guys, Troxel, Bartow, Perez, and Sam Video come down the pit lane, take right side tires. We'll have to see if that ends up playing a benefit to him as Bryce Egan leads us to the green flag with Zeidel, Miller, Paulus, and Jack Haas, the top 5. And now this race is wide open here tonight at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Sure is. Good restart for pretty much everybody. They all relatively stayed in line. It'll be interesting to see those guys at the right sides as to whether or not they can actually move their way through the field. Particularly as they've got to go through about 20 cars in this run, and particularly if this thing stays green and these guys can make it. So that's going to be the big thing.
All 4 of them are right on each other right here, so we'll have to see if they can get around these guys. Matthew Hubert, in the meantime, has actually gained back up to 19th. Remember, he had the tire go down coming to the restart, and he ended up going to the back of the field. They haven't really gained any ground on these guys yet, and we'll have to see if that's more of a long-term gain for those guys. Is Daniel Paulus Jr. going for 3rd here on Andrew Miller? This is huge for Daniel because he's going to pop himself back in that top 10 the way this one's going. And how about Corey Case? And Matt Tuck's moving up here in this 54. Hey, both of your guys, Nathan. Nathan, and I know, Stuart, you have some of the worst luck when you come in. I mean, basically everyone has bad luck in the booth except for Nathan. When Nathan's in the booth, he always seems to pick the winner. And I don't know if you're going to get that right tonight, but you don't seem to have as bad luck, Nathan, as other guys do. Just an observation. Just an observation. Well, how about these 2 guys, Bryce Egan and Justin Zeidel? 1-2. Daniel Paulus Jr. and Andrew Miller battling. Corey Case won the Dash for Cash at Hillside, and he's here in a Cup Series race as a Sprint Series driver on a short track battling for a top 5. Now Tuck slipping back right there. Cramped into the inside. Bruno Diacomo, Smooth Fest winner up here as well. Laura Chung in the top 10 as well. Check in here. Troxel gets around Fitzwater. That's 1 position right there. We'll have to see. That's going to be a long-term run for these guys, I think, if that's going to work out for them. Or it could be. It could be. Will these guys have enough to make it to the end? Because they're really, really going to be worn out once we get to the end of this race. I want to see this thing stay green because it's going to be fascinating if that ends up happening.
They might have enough fuel to make it, but Todd, that's really going to be questionable because we did have a couple of yellows, so they could have saved some gas under the caution there, but I don't know, it's going to be interesting if they can make it. I think the 4 drivers that pitted under that second caution are easily going to be good with both situations on fuel and tires, but as far as everyone else, it's a big mystery here, and I'm just going to be a little bit biased. How about both Finesse Racing cars inside the top 7 for one of the few times this season? Absolutely fantastic. I will say it probably definitely helped a lot of what happened during the big one, but still a great one with about 43 laps to go. And like you said at the restart, this is wide open for anyone inside this top 10 with a shutting up top 10.
And Andrew Miller, I think, got caught up in that too. You see a bit of a buckle on his hood, but he's put himself in this position here tonight, qualified pretty well, and managed to keep that thing in the top 10. And here he is, still in contention as Jack Haas was moving to the inside of him right there. We know that 39's fast on these short tracks. Obviously got the win at Martinsville not too long ago. It's not a bad day for you guys, Stuart. You still got 2 guys in the top 10 as well. It's just Ladovic got caught up in that wreck, and that's a shame for him because he needed a better run than that, considering he kind of just stayed where he was, only 19 ahead of the cutoff. I don't think he's going to fall below the cutoff after this race, but he's going to lose a little bit of ground. And meanwhile, Thomas Troxell's really the benchmark for these guys at this point, and he's up to 16th now, right behind Drew Webb. He is running faster. The guys who came down with him, Sam Medeo and Bartow, are trying to make some moves, but they're struggling as Samedo just got sent into the wall by Brian Webb. And somehow he keeps it going right there. You know, Samedo, it's not been the best of seasons for him since that Daytona 500 win. He's outside the wild card, 24 points behind. It'll get interesting in that regard. Up front, still pretty clean and green as Bryce Egan continues to lead this 69. Will it be his first career win here tonight? Well, we're going to have to see. And I know Justin would love to get this one. You know that 43 is going to be going for it, especially considering that Blaine Keys is out of this race, and he's been the top guy there racing motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing with the wild card as well. These 2 guys, 20th and 22nd in points coming into this race, so their best chance is through the wild card, and it's not like they're like Avery Alpha. We talked about they're 97 points behind. These guys are not that far behind the wild card. They're a little ways behind, but not that far behind. It's still possible, particularly with the way I really rate Egan, the way he's run this year in particular. I think he's done a great job. And that 69 just had a bit of bad luck. If he can pull this off, I wouldn't be surprised if he did end up making it through the wild card. But then, of course, you have someone like Ladovic, who now has a win, but he got taken out in this one. And then you got Paulus here in third, who's having a really, really good run in this race. Desperately needed for him to just to kind of build that buffer in the wildcard race and then potentially to get back in the top 10. I think he would at the moment, based on the way they're running. So
of all the guys who came into this race top 10 in points, the highest one is Jack Haas right now, who is just clearly going to move up. And Matt Tuck's another one of those guys who is holding on strong. Hey, guess what? How about Rogel Dorn in the 74 is now in the top 10? Wouldn't you believe it? After where he started in this race, he's going to definitely do some good damage control here. And don't look now. You know, Troxell's coming, guys. He's got a fast car. He is making moves through this field. And once we get later on in this run, I think he's just going to be faster and faster in comparison to everybody else. Bartow and Sam Medeo are struggling to get around these guys. And Braden Perez is actually falling back in the 23. I don't know what exactly is wrong with him. But I tell you what, Troxell could win this race if this stays green. Don't quote me on that right now, but come back later if I'm right. Bryce Egan still leads. Justin Zeidel, Daniel Paulus Sr., Andrew Miller, Jack Haas, still the top 5 here. Corey Case holding on to 6. That's a solid run for him. And hey, Matt was saying on Wednesday, this is a guy who can end up in a Cup Series ride full-time next year, and that's very possible the way he's been running over there in the Sprint Series. I mean, he's 6th in points in the Sprint Series, and he's made 3 fewer starts than everybody else over there. 2 wins on the year, 1 Daytona, 1 Hillside. I mean, he's just living on cloud 9 right now, and you know what? I know you're taking note, Stuart. I know you probably are taking note, Nathan. A lot of owners are taking note of what he's doing this season. And you know what? He could very well be on his way to a top 10 finish here, or maybe even a top 5 in a Wawa Cup Series race.
Oh yeah, Corey Case doing an absolutely fantastic job, and it's going to be interesting of what ends up happening for him, but it's also going to get interesting for the ways to lead, as Seidel has closed in to Bryce Egan for the top spot, and it's hard to pass, but Seidel, if he's able to get to build a big enough one, we could have a battle for the top spot. Seidel's 21 all over.
Jack Haas is down. Jack
Uh-oh.
Haas is in the pit lane. I don't think that's a scheduled stop either. I don't like doing this live, but oil leak on the 39. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's terrible for him. My goodness, you know, hard to say, you know, we definitely know who's good and who's not, but the bad luck has really risen to a high level this season for some of these guys. It's been amazing, the kind of just bad things that have happened. I mean, just ask Nicholas Amadeo, of course, in Bristol, but Jack Haas, he needed a much better run than that, and Tough break for him right there as Corey Case getting out of line right there. And Justin's right all over the back bumper of the 69. But this 62 of Thomas Troxel is running the fastest times out there. Sam Medio's also finally clearing these guys back behind as well, but he's so far behind that 62 that he's really not going to have a chance at the win. But Sam Medio needs a good run. With all these other guys around him dropping like flies, that's going to be good for him. Of course, Sam Medio and Troxel, two guys who are very consistent in this series, obviously. Matt Tuck trying to hold on, but he's going to get passed by the 62 eventually as Troxel's trying to get on Bernardi Oliveira right here. 25 laps to go next time by for Bryce Egan. Will the tires hold out to the end? That's the big question.
The way that Troxel has been running these guys down, I'm not sure. He's 6 seconds behind at the moment, so he's got to try and get around these 50, 57, 54. I reckon if any of the guys that hit it, it will be Troxel that gets this win. But Egan, I mean, he's 6 seconds ahead of the 62 at the moment. I don't know if he's going to gain 6 seconds in that amount of time. That's the thing. And I would love to give a shout out to Corey while we're at it, by the way, the 11. I mean, I'm really impressed actually with how this car is actually driven with the variety of drivers we've had. And Corey's had a few starts in this car. Except for the Daytona 500, he was the fastest of our 3 cars in that race. So right now, running in the top 5 is it's a great performance, particularly given the ratings and how far in the season we are.
Mm-hmm. It was race 13, race 12 last year when Sam and Oskin won for Appalachian Motorsports at Dover. So, you know, it's not out of the question for a Sprint Series driver to run well, and especially after what we've seen here tonight. I tell you what, I don't look at this. Sam Medio's closed up to Troxel. Troxel has not been able to get around the Oliveira right here, and that 59 is right there. It's finally going to open the door up for him. But you know, this is so fascinating, and I hope we see something like this on Sunday night in the NASCAR Cup Series with the All-Star Race, because you know what, we got 2 sets of battles going on right here. You got the guys who are leading, as I think someone may have blown up. I thought I saw some smoke right there. And then you got Troxel and Sam Medio who are trying to close in. The thing is, they're stuck behind Matt Tuck right now, and Matt Tuck's on that strategy as well. Troxel's going to peek down to the inside, but Sam Medio's right there. And that Troxel can't be too happy about that. If these guys can't make it on those tires, we're going to have to see as Paulus is closing in on Justin Seidel. These guys are really off the pace now. Really off the pace here. And I don't know. What do you want to do, Nathan?
Well, I'm glad I'm not a driver right now, because I would not know what to do. Number one is to try to manage your stuff, but honestly, Troxel and Sam Medio, they are only on 2 fresher tires. They still have 2 tires that are absolutely killed, as well as the top 5, top 6. They are in the same boat with 2 of the tires, and it's going to be interesting. It's only 18 laps to go. I think they might be able to get to the top 4. I think the top 3 might be safe if they can make it. It's gonna be really interesting here at North Wilkesboro.
There were 2 cautions there, 2 caution periods in between all of that, so that might be saving Bryce Egan and these guys for the moment in terms of just being able to make it. Troxel's closing in about 3/10 a lap here. That's just not quite enough at this point. Oh, someone blew up. Oh no, Justin!
Oh my
God! Not from second
goodness.
place. Ah, what a shame. What a shame for Justin Seidel. He had a good run going for him here tonight. And wow. It's just one thing after another. Jack Haas is a lap down. Actually got back out there, I think, in that 39 machine. He's only 1 lap down at this point. And he did. And you know what? He's got fresher tires now, obviously, because he went down the pit lane. So you know this 39 is ripping it around this place. But will he have enough? My goodness, this is so fascinating. Matt Tuck falling back there as Roland Warren gets around him, and so does Trey Bartow in the 4 machine. Bartow's also on that same strategy. Oh boy! That's a move. That's a move right there. I think Troxel's tires just gave out on him, and Sam Medio got the move on him. Bryce Egan, though, still out in front by 2 seconds ahead of Daniel Paulus Jr. right here. And you got Andrew Miller, Corey Case, Travis Crampton, Nicholas Sam Medio trying. He's trying to close in. My goodness, this is fascinating. fascinating stuff here in North Wilkesboro. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
If the top
Bryce
5... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce Egan's best friends at the moment are the guys 2nd through 5th at the moment. Those cars that are not the fresh tyres. Because this is the thing. We saw Troxel and these guys, they really dropped a bit of ground trying to get around, say, De Oliveira, for example, is now Samadeo goes to the outside.
He did that at Auto Club last week on Matthew Hubert. And he's going to make it work on Crampton.
Looks like he will. Wow. Jeez, that's a statement and a half right there. But, yeah, that's Bryce Egan's best friend right there. The 11, the 98, 97, and the 24, because these guys are coming in a hurry.
The thing is, Samadeo has not really gained any time on Egan here. And I just don't know if it's going to be quite enough time. But the thing is, can Egan make it? Is fuel going to be a concern? Because we know the tire wear, that's going to really going to be pushing it near the end of this thing. I mean, you can tell how slow these guys are going through the corner. Bryce Egan and Daniel Paulus Jr. and Nicholas Samadeo's coming here. If he gets around Andrew Miller right here, right now, oh boy, and he is going to get around this 97. Will he be able to make it all the way to the front? You know, Nicholas Samadeo has won the title sponsor of his car's race before. The Mountain Dew 500, I think it was the 2021 NR2003 Cup Series. And you know what? This is the Brandt 400. He's in the Brandt car. Will he be able to catch up to Bryce Egan before the end of this race? 3.2 seconds. Oh my goodness, this is going to be close. You got to think, too, though, Samadeo's tires are also wearing out as well. And he's got one more car in between him and Bryce Egan. How will this shake out? Next time by, it is 8 laps to go here in the Brandt 400 at North Wilkesboro. Oh boy, only 3/10 that time for the 59.
Yeah, I think with the 59 as well, I mean, you have to get around the lap car. Sorry, not the lap car, but he had to get around the 97. But when he's in clear air, he is a lot faster than the 69 and the 24. You can see how much he gains on the 24 through the corners in particular, and he's going to get past him here very, very quickly.
Oh my goodness, 2.32 now for Samadeo. He's got to get around this 24 right here, right now, because time is running out here in this Brandt 400 in North Wilkesboro. Got to be careful. Point of no return is also coming as well. So you don't know. There could be something. This 39, by the way, as well. Remember, he took the fresh tires. This downside for Jack Haas, he's a lap down. And he's flying out there in that 39 machine. There goes Samadeo and Daniel Paulus Jr. And Samadeo's got to be careful with Jack Haas here because that 39 is much faster. Just got to let him by. Just got to let him by right here. Jack Haas is going to finish on the lead lap in this race. That might slow Samadeo down just a little bit, but Jack Haas is also going to get around Bryce Egan here. And then on top of that, they're closing in on lap cars. You got the 00 Zayden Davidson, Tanner Parton, LJ Sameto there. Jack Haas looking to the inside of Bryce Egan. Nicholas Samadeo, 1.74 seconds now. Oh my goodness, it's going to be tight. Next time by, 4 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro for Bryce Egan. Will he have enough? Oh, this 59, he is fast. Troxel's trying to get back around Daniel Paulus Jr. there for position. Will Samadeo... I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say it. You know what happened at Bristol. And we've seen guys blow up here tonight. But he's right there. Nicholas Samadeo on the back bumper of Bryce Egan for the race lead. And to the inside with 3 laps to go here in North Wilkesboro. And Nicholas Samadeo is going to take the race lead away. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is a good one. Paulus and Troxel are battling. And Nicholas Samadeo trying to clear away from that 69 so that Troxel doesn't get too close to him. 2 laps to go here in the Brandt 400 in North Wilkesboro for Nicholas Samadeo in the 59. And you can tell the tires on his machine are really wearing out. Where is Jack Haas? Look at how fast Jack Haas is going here in this 39 machine. And where will he end up? It's not going to be enough time for him to win the race, but he is going to get a good position out of this one once it's all said and done. White flag in the air for Nicholas Samadeo here at North Wilkesboro. He's just got to make it back around. The tires are completely eaten up throughout this entire field, but this 59 of Nicholas Samadeo 45 starts in the Wawa Cup Series. Arguably one of the greatest drivers on the channel. He's going to get number 27 of his career. And finally, his first Wawa Cup Series race victory. Nicholas Samadeo wins the Brandt 400 here in North Wilkesboro. Unbelievable run near the end of that race. My goodness, that was fun.
That was crazy. The difference you could see with the 39, how fast it was flying. You could tell that the tires and the way they were wearing out. It's just incredible. Where did the 39 end up finishing? I know you just
14th
Where did he
for
end
Jack
up
Haas.
finishing? 14.
Wow.
He ended up ahead of Matt Tuck. I mean, that is incredible because those guys were battling with each other for a while there. But
Wow.
I mean, you could see the 62, the 59, and all these guys with the fresh tires and how much of a difference it made. In the end, the right strategy call for Samadeo, and I feel bad for Bryce Egan because he was fantastic all night long, and he was so close, so close. He just.
You got it. Yeah, I will say.
He just didn't have the tires to fight.
I will say you have to hand it to Bryce Egan. I mean, he did everything. He managed to hold off Troxler right there. What we saw at Bryce Egan here tonight was awesome. That was such a great run for him. Oh my goodness. Guys, I wrote this race off. I completely wrote this race off. I thought we were going to see what we saw last year. Someone lead 100 laps. That was it. I was like, whatever. That right there may have just been the best race of the season. I can't believe what we just saw. And it was a perfect storm as well with the way the cautions came out when they did. And think about the four guys who came down. Samadeo, Troxel, Bartow, Brain, Perez. Three of those guys were the three best drivers from last year. Three of the best drivers from last year. And then it was Trey Bartow. Those were experienced veterans. And, you're telling me that the ratings don't matter on the pit crew side of things. That was Appalachian Motorsports, Pacific Racing, Team Williams, and Harrisville Motorsports. Those are four owners who know what they're doing. And, wow, it worked out. It worked out for them. What an excellent race. And Nicholas Samadeo has finally won a Wawa Cup Series race, and this time he gets to keep it. Oh, my goodness. We remember Bristol. We all know what happened at Bristol, and sweet revenge for him right there with that one. And man, you gotta feel for Bryce Egan, but you know what? That was a great run for Bryce. Daniel Paulus Jr. with a great run. How about Corey Case finishing top 5 for you guys, Stuart? Take a look at the rest of it right there. And we had a bunch of stuff go down in this one, no doubt about it. You guys saw all that occurred right there, but only 2 cautions here tonight. But guys, wow. I didn't know it was going to be like that. What a race here in North Wilkesboro. What a race.
What a race indeed.
Go ahead, Nathan.
What a race indeed. North Wilkesboro definitely an interesting racetrack when it comes to Tyler, and Tyler's played into a massive role with all the strategy with the top 4, well, not the top 4, but with the 4 that took 2 tires under that second caution. And I was gonna say it during the race, but I can safely say now that battle between Troxel and Samadeo, that ended up being the pass for the race win. I don't know if Samadeo was going to get there in time, but he did. And Samadeo gets the win. Troxel in 3rd. Great one for Egan. Feel bad for him. Great one for Corey Case. And a little bit of a shout for my team. Both cars in the top 10. That's like one of the few times I was seeing what a race strategy field. That was a fun one here at North Wilkesboro, and that is going to carry the momentum all throughout Indy 250 without a shadow of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to expect going into this one. I didn't think it would be anything like this in terms of the overall, the way that it panned out and the way the cautions came into play and the strategy. I mean, as you said, the 4 guys that came down. I know that it wasn't a great result for Perez in 13th. For whatever reason, that car didn't have as much speed as the other 3, but especially Samadeo. He was flying. And yeah, that's an amazing drive. It's been a long time coming for him because, I mean, that's stating the obvious. But he's been fantastic for such a long time. Of course, runner-up last year in the championship. And Just a bit of relief. Finally, yes, we got one. I think that's how I felt when Ludovic won a couple of weeks ago at Kansas. The relief that finally we got one. And I assume that it'll be the same kind of thing. I know that Caleb's Appalachia, they've already won a race this year with Alexander Rowe, with the hot seat car. But this one with Sam, it gets him in the chase. He won't be out of the chase with this now in particular. So
yeah, and
he'll definitely make it.
Yeah, especially after he had the strong runs past few races and the way he's been running. You know, this is Nicholas Amadeo we saw last year, and this really, and now I feel like it's going to be like 3 or 4 wins for him this season because he's finally got that win. Now he can really start racking them off. I said the same thing about Ludovic as well. I think it's another guy, as well as we move forward, that we're really going to see a lot out of. But, you know, wow, what a race. And it all really came down to that big wreck it came down to Blaine Keys flipping there right around the time he did, right around about 32. And then we had that split strategy, and that was all it took for that to happen. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, if this race was 105 laps, Jack Haas would have won. That 39 was 3 or 4 seconds a lap quicker than everybody else out there. And he would have won this race if this was a 105-lap race. But it was only 100 laps. And how about it? The Brandt car wins the Brandt 400. I didn't think that was going to happen, but here we are. It happened. I don't know how it happens. So all he needed was the sponsor on his car to be sponsoring the race, and boom, there he goes. He gets it done. How about it? 27th career win. He got his 26th the other night at Dirt Extreme 5. He's one away from tying Fitzwater for the all-time wins list. Wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but wouldn't it be something if he tied Fitzwater at the Indy 250 to get his 3rd Indy 250 win? I'm sorry. That would be something else if he did that. If Fitzwater's also in that race too, Fitzwater's also going to be in the Coke 600 next week as well. And you know what? That's the race Nicholas Amadeo could win for his 28th career win as well. Or he could win the Body Armor Pro Series at Indy on Tuesday night and get his 28th win there. But Fitzwater as well. I know he doesn't want to lose that all-time wins mark right now, but Amadeo's coming his 3rd win of the year on the channel and probably the biggest one in quite some time for him. Alright, I'm done talking, guys. You have a great rest of your night. Indy 250 qualifying tomorrow at noon, and then the Fast 9 and the Last 9 Sunday at noon as well. Caleb will be doing that. See who makes it in and who doesn't. That's going to be very fascinating to find out. And, Indy 250, we're right in the middle of it now. The Indy 250 is next Saturday at noon Eastern Time right here on AG channel. We cannot wait for that. Of course, next Friday night's the Coke 600, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Longest race of the season. It's going to be a blast. Thank you so much to Nathan Stapler and Stuart Cratton for joining me for this one. I'm sure it was a pleasure for both of you guys to see that race play out the way it did. What a fun one. And I know it didn't play out the best, maybe for you, Stuart, but that was entertaining. And such an honor to have you guys be a part of this one here tonight from North Wilkesboro. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 15 races. We are halfway through the season, and we're 5 races until the chase call. Congratulations to Nicholas Amadeo for his first ever Wawa Cup Series race victory. And on behalf of Nathan Stapler and Stuart Gratton, I will see you guys later.